I fucking love Bloodborne. Like, maybe a little too much, but seriously, this is like my favorite game of all time. Everything about this game is ballin'. Every little thing about it appeals to my tastes. It's almost like Hidetaka Miyazaki read my mind and made a game out of what he found. And the game he made, fuck, it's good. I really enjoy talking about this game, but I've never really been able to express into words why I love this game so much. So I'm going to try that right now. A little heads up though, this is not a Bloodborne review. What it does right, what it does wrong, nothing, duh. This is why I love Bloodborne so much I'm making a goddamn video about it. So here we go. Number 1, the gameplay.
Oh my god, pull my fucking trigger.
Bloodborne is a super duper hard game. It doesn't hold your hand, like, at all. You get thrusted into this world without knowing anything about what you're doing. There are no tutorials like the ones used in other games. The only things being little notes on the ground that tell you, this attacks, this rolls, this heals, and that's it. There's nothing telling you how to use your items, nothing telling you how to even equip your weapons. In fact, when you start the game, you don't even have any weapons. The game is just, here's the game, play it, and you're just like, but I don't know what to do, and then the game's all, figure it out. I love that. Bloodborne forces you to learn and figure shit out on your own. For example, in the beginning of the game, when you first encounter the big mob of enemies chilling by the campfire, a lot of people probably just went in headfirst and tried to kill them, and then died instantly. As the player, you're forced to go,
oh, well that didn't work. Maybe there's another way.
And there is. You could lure them out with a few pebbles, or you can go in, hit one, and then run back out to dwindle their numbers. Either way you want to tackle it, you got it around it yourself without a note being all, hey, throw pebble if you want to win, press square. Yeah, you did it! Something that a lot of people will figure out when they first play this game is that it's fucking hard. You will die a lot. Like, over and over and over and over. It sucks. But there's a moment where everything, all the gameplay mechanics and how to play just click and you get it. You go from dying repeatedly to hardly ever getting hit. You start destroying everything in your path with a couple swings, and the game is designed to be like that. It's amazing. So, Bloodborne may be extremely hard, but it's also very fair. Another thing that I love so much about this game is that there are no cheap deaths. If you die, it's because you fucked up. You weren't good enough. Maybe you sidestepped at the wrong time, maybe you dodged the wrong attack, or dodged in the wrong direction, maybe you attacked one too many times, maybe you suck. But you died because of your own mistakes, not because you didn't have the right weapon, or the wrong item equipped, or not enough health, or not enough armor. You die because you messed up. But use those mistakes to improve and do better next time. And when you do, and you finally kill that boss you've been trying to kill for the past 6 hours, you'll feel like you're on top of the world. It's reasons like this that I never really found Bloodborne frustrating. I never really got mad at the game despite dying so many times on the same boss. I knew it was because I fucked up that I was dying so much. It was never the game's fault for being too hard or too unfair, except for the abhorrent beast. Seriously, fuck you. Make me break my controller and shit, fuck you. I know that Dark Souls and Demon Souls did all this shit before, and I know that a lot of people say that those games are harder, but I don't give a fuck! I'm talking Bloodborne, not the Souls games. Honestly, I could never really get invested in the Souls games because of the gameplay mechanics. Dark Souls is very slow-paced and requires a lot of patience. It's a lot of fucking waiting around for the guy to attack so you can either block with your shield or roll out of the way so you can get your attack in, and then doing that all over again. Bloodborne is faster paced and more aggressive in almost every way. Your character moves faster. You have a cool looking dash sidestep to dodge with. You have no shield to block with, for the most part I guess. You don't really wait for the opponent to attack. You just have to get in there and go. The game pretty much forces you to be aggressive with the bosses to make your own openings. The bosses are super aggressive. They attack you almost constantly, and you're forced to think on your feet. It's hard to plan a strategy for beating the boss because you don't get a lot of time to breathe. For these reasons, Bloodborne appeals to me so much more. I've been playing Dark Souls 3, and while it is a nice mix of blood and soul, it just doesn't really appeal to me as much as Bloodborne does. When playing Dark Souls 3, I still found myself waiting around for the boss to attack so I could roll behind it, get my hit in, and if I were too aggressive, I'd die. Don't get me wrong, it's a great game, and I'm having a lot of fun playing it, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't playing it wishing it was more like Bloodborne. Nothing personal, kid, it's just not my jam. Number 2, the story.
Oh yeah, read me a book.
The story of Bloodborne is a fucking enigma. You can almost say there is no concrete story. Sure, there are certain aspects of it that are consistent, but almost everyone has their own interpretation of what the hell is going on in the world of Bloodborne, and that's what I love about it so much. I didn't even know what the hell was going on during my first playthrough of the game. The game has you killing these awesome looking disgusting beasts, only to have you kill this gross but kind of cute not spider thing, and have everything turned to shit in the weirdest way. You see these messed up Cthulhu creatures everywhere, and then the moon gives birth? And then you throw in aliens, and gods, and eyes, and school, and hunters, and ancient civilizations, and vile bloods, and pale bloods, and nightmares, and babies, and fuck, dude! I sound crazy even saying this shit out loud, and I've beaten the game like 6 times already, and it still sounds fucking nuts. Hell, to this day, if somebody were to ask me what the game was about, I get lost trying to explain it, and just tell them to look it up. It wasn't until I started frequenting the Bloodborne subreddit that I started to read about the story and what other people thought was going on. What really made the story make sense was this saint of a man who goes by the name of Redgrave. This dude wrote what is pretty much a book on the story of Bloodborne, or at least his interpretation of it. It's called The Pale Blood Hunt. It's free and it's a very good read, so if you're interested in the story, I'd go check it out. It's ridiculous how deep the lore goes. Whether the developer did it on purpose, or if it's just people like Redgrave looking too far into it and the developer is just going with it, it's still incredibly cool regardless. A lot of people don't like the fact that the story is so cryptic, but I fucking love it. It's almost like figuring out the story is a game in itself. All of the lore is in item descriptions, clues in the environments, NPCs and boss names. It's so cool how everything is connected and you can figure it out without it ever being flat out told to you. Number 3, the world in the atmosphere.
Ugh, it's so scary. Oh, good God.
One of the most interesting things about Bloodborne is its world. I think if I were to pinpoint one thing that makes me so drawn to this game, it would have to be the world and the atmosphere that just oozes out as you play. I love the gothic Victorian style that is in Bloodborne and how it's based on Lovecraftian horror. I love the outfits, the long trench coat style that comes with almost all the armor sets, and just the light armor theme in general. I love the idea of playing as a character that is essentially wearing everyday-ish clothing. No one would wear those arm guards, come on. And fighting these grotesque enemies and fighting for my life. Some of my favorite armor sets in the game are Father Gascoigne's set and Garamond's set because they just look like normal clothes. Of course, I love the default Hunter Garb and Eileen's armor set, but that just further shows my infatuation for the gothic, dark themes for the armor. In Dark Souls 3, the fantasy setting, while cool and enjoyable, just doesn't really appeal to me as much. I don't really dig the heavy knight and shining armor feel about it. I know that there's alternatives, but a lot of the armor you get is heavy armor. It fits the world of that game and all, and I totally get it, but Bloodborne just nails the gothic aspect, and I think that the armor is a huge part of that. Delving more into what I love about Bloodborne's world is that it feels like a world. When I'm playing Bloodborne and making my way through the streets of Yharnam, it feels like I'm venturing through an actual living, breathing world. There are houses, there's dead bodies, I guess. There are doors you can knock on and have people tell you to fuck off.
Just like real life.
Going through Bloodborne's world feels like I'm fighting through an actual place dealing with this awful disease. Also, pretty much the whole world, minus a few exceptions, is connected. And I mean like, to an extreme level. The first time I went through the Forgotten Woods, and I went on a path that took me to Yosefka's clinic in the first area of the game, I shit my pants. It's incredible how interconnected the world is. At no point does it feel like I'm going through the level of a game. Look, I know that Demon Souls and Dark Souls did this first, or at least Dark Souls 1 did. I'm pretty sure Dark Souls 2 is less connected, which is why people hated that game, but not really. But I didn't play those games, and I'm not going to act like I did. When I play through Dark Souls 3, it just feels like I'm going through different levels. Like, oh shit, the castle level. Oh, I just entered the forest level, man. Wow, the fire level, this ice level though. I know a lot of people love the variety, but to me, it made the world feel less cohesive. And again, I'm not hating on Dark Souls 3. It's an amazing game, and after all, the Souls games did it first. But I'm just trying to explain why I can literally become obsessed with a game like Bloodborne and not really fall in love with Dark Souls. I also love how Bloodborne just emits this feeling of dread. Yharnam is a fucked up place with coffins and dead bodies everywhere. It nails that feeling of a depressing, dark, and dreary world, just like my soul. Another one of the things that makes Bloodborne's atmosphere so good and palpitating is the music. The music fits the game perfectly. A great example is when you go to Hypogene Gal. The first time I heard the music play there, it gave me goosebumps with how spooky and haunting it was. Just listen. The music is also, in my opinion, one of the things that makes the game so challenging. Seriously, take the Cleric Beast, many people's first boss, and fight him with the sound turned off. It's so easy to beat them. You fuck them up no problem because it's silent and peaceful and you can focus and think about what you're doing. But turn the sound on and listen to the Cleric Beast's awesome theme and whoa! Fuck, dude! You get your ass kicked. The music makes your heart race, builds the tension to extreme levels. It makes you cry and shake with nerves. The battle quickly gets so intense that when you beat the boss, it's the best feeling of triumph ever. Speaking of triumph, that is another thing about the world that makes me drool over Bloodborne. Even though it might not be as apparent as the other things I just talked about, I love the theme of triumph that this game has. You are a hunter, essentially a regular person chosen to hunt these giant foes. Almost every boss in the game is this larger-than-life monster with huge deadly claws and ferocious fighting styles. Some of them are literal gods. These battles are so intense and crazy, and you're on the edge of your seat the whole time. Your palms get sweaty, your knees get weak, and you vomit everywhere the closer and closer you get to beating them. And when you finally do, it's honestly one of the most accomplishing feelings ever. You just beat the boss. You won. You triumphed. You overcame. When you win, you are presented with the words, "Prey slaughtered." Your prey. You made that boss your bitch. It's even more emphasized with the bosses that take a lot of attempts. When I finally beat Martyr Ligarius or Breedus for the first time, or holy shit, Lawrence the First Vicar in the DLC, forget about it. I exploded out of my seat with a big fuck you, I won. You suck. The themes and feelings Bloodborne has the potential to make a player feel is on another level of gaming. I fucking love it. Bloodborne is a special work of art and is a milestone in game design. It is a game that I feel everyone should give a chance, especially if you have a PS4. No game has engrossed me so much as a player, has been so rewarding while kicking my ass at the same time. Bloodborne holds a special place in my heart and truly is a masterpiece.
Yay, Bloodborne.
Hey guys, thanks for checking out my video and listening to me gush over Bloodborne for however long this video is. If you agree with me, feel free to share in the discussion. I love talking about this game, it's so cool. And if you think I'm wrong, just let me know. And if you like the video, feel free to subscribe. I plan on doing a lot more like this. And feel free to check out my other videos. I make stupid cartoons. Or I have another channel called Soup and Pasta where I do like a podcast thing with my buddies and we talk about games. So if you want to share in the discussion with that, feel free. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you later.